Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Mike Ames Recruitment Show, where, as you can see, we're going to be talking about the real power of knowing your walk-away number and how to become financially independent, even if you can't exit via a sale. And we have a great guest for you today, and we're going to introduce them in just a moment. But Mike is looking very tropical in this beautiful English weather with his shirt. And for those of you on the podcast, it is an absolute story.
Yeah, I kind of like this. Just if because Kirsty and I have this thing about my shirts. If you've got a moment, just to type in the comments if you like it, give me a thumbs up, or don't bother with the thumbs down. Just give me a thumbs up if you like it. That would be awesome. Look, I'm going on my holidays on Thursday, so I feel pretty good, really.
I bet you do.
I've got 3 good days today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Sorry, Thursday, and I'm off with Mrs. Ames to Wales.
Living the dream. But before then, Michael, we have an excellent show today. And I want to talk about this show because we are talking about the power of a walkaway number. Now, we're going to get into what that means in a second. And I know that this is a story, this is a topic very true to your heart. But why are we talking about this story and why are we talking about it today?
Okay, talking about it today because Christian was free, so
yeah.
that's probably what I would say there. But no, we're talking about it because it's bloody important. We run businesses, as we'll see in a minute. We run businesses for the benefit of the shareholders. That's sacrosanct. But the question is, what are those benefits? And one of them is to make you financially independent, as it said on that screen a moment ago. That's its job. Right, and I think a lot of people believe that's going to be a sale, company sale, or an MBO, or an exit, but it probably won't be statistically. So the sooner that you start to tackle this, the better. So that's why we're talking about it today, and that's why we're bringing in Christian, because Christian Mather is the founder and director of One Day Wealth, and essentially he's a wealth planner for owners of recruitment businesses. Pretty much that's all he does now. So he knows that space very well. So welcome to the show, Christian.
Hello, Christian.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Kirsty. Appreciate you having me on today. And the intro was perfect as well. Do I need to say anything else?
Oh, yes, you do. Don't worry, I'll be getting you there. So, Christian, some people who are watching or listening may know who you are, but we like to make sure that everybody kind of knows why you're here. So can we start just understanding a little bit about your journey, about how you got to where you are now, the people that you work with, the specialization that you've got? So tell us a little bit.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people, I started out in corporate, working in the city in London. I was stockbroking. I went into money management. Like, I met my partner in 2016. She had 2 children from a previous marriage, but then my daughter came in 2019. And the big driver for me to get out of corporate was I didn't want to be, out the house for 12 hours a day with no freedom. But it's that old thing, isn't it? We give up a 9 to 5 to start a 5 to 9 and actually have a lot less freedom in some ways. But yeah, 2019 came along, and one of the things I really wanted to do was go from being money managers and stockbrokers. Really, they make money off their clients. I wanted to put my clients in a position that they could be financially free in the future. And over one turn or another, I started to work with business owners a lot more, really being because business owners have a lot more control. They have control over what they do with the money from the business. They have control over the business. And also, I think it's a hugely underrepresented area. 3 years ago, I met someone. I did some training on LinkedIn, like I'm sure a lot of people on here have done. I was posting a lot, getting loads of attention, but nothing coming from it. And someone said, you need to niche. And so I thought, well, who spends the most time on LinkedIn? It's recruiters. So I decided to niche into recruitment at that point, and I never really looked back. I actually I felt like I found my tribe. I love recruitment. People from all walks of life, easy businesses to set up, hard to run, but easy to set up. And if you can get it right, the opportunity's there. Where it really lies in for me is the gap is actually people aren't doing enough to save for their future, to save for now, to do the things now. And and ultimately what I find is I'm able to help those people put a plan in place. And often what comes from those plans is a bit of peace of mind that, we're doing the right things for the future. I've got someone that's on my side. I've got someone that works for me. They're not just trying to sell me something. They're working for me, and it can help me get to where I want. And that's exactly why I've got it. So last 3 years in recruitment has been fantastic.
Can I just dive in there and say that
Please do.
I first had a wealth manager in 1992. I was 32 years old, and it was against my better judgment because someone else wanted to do this, one of the other partners. But from that day, I had the same wealth manager for nearly 25 years. 35 years nearly. He's retired now, but the benefit of it for me personally was the visibility it gave me more than anything else, to understand what I needed to do and what I needed to do to get there. It just was absolutely crucial, and that's one of the reasons I'm such a big fan of it. I really want people to share and get the same benefits that I got from having an absolute clarity on what this business has to do for you, because that's what it's there for. It's not as a place for your employees to have a great life. I mean, yeah, of course you want them to have a great life, but it's for you, the owner. It's all about you. You come first. So, and a big part of that is at some point you can hang your clogs up and say, that's me, I'm done, I'm out of here, and have a great life until you pop your clogs when you're 101 or something. So totally reinforce what you just said there, Christian.
I'm just interested as well, after you did that initial sort of, planned it out and you knew what you want to take, and you built a relationship over 20 plus years, did you find that you got more from that wealth manager than just advice on your money?
I think that's a personal thing. I reckon some of the wealth managers dry as dust water, obviously.
I've met many of them.
But Les Phillips, he's retired now, but Les was absolutely brilliant. And I still see him now. I still use him as a soundboard for my business. He's retired, plays a lot of golf, but I go and see him. In fact, I'm seeing him in a couple of weeks. And he's like an unpaid kind of coach for me. So, I mean, these people know everybody. His network is to die for. And I called upon that network many times.
Perfect.
And that's sort of just one final point on that. That's where it comes. If you can find the right person, they're going to be as a business owner, you don't want to speak maybe with your spouse or partner because you don't want to worry them. You can't speak with your employees, so you need someone that you can go to and have sometimes just a chin wag and a bit of advice.
Hello.
Yeah.
No one would come to you for advice about that shirt. Although Jackie has said it's very Magnum PI, and Jackie, I think that's been very generous.
Can you send Jackie £20?
I do not think Tom Pellick likes that comparison. Okay, so I want to delve deeper into now. So when we talk about these things, I want to make sure that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet. So Christian, can we just say, what do you mean when you say walk away number? What does that mean?
Okay. In its simplest form, a walkaway number is the assets that you need to provide you an income without ever having to work again. In other words, you've got enough money that you can pull an income from it. So whatever happens in your business, in your life outside of that, you can continue to provide and pay for your lifestyle and provide for your family, and all those things. And it can include a lot of different things. We've got to include future events like paying off your mortgage, maybe weddings, those kind of things, all the nice stuff from that.
Old people's homes. I know, because I've seen that in my plan. Old people's homes.
I'm picking that home.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Joking apart, they're massively expensive. Got to be in the plan somewhere.
Yeah, 100%. It needs to be in there to. You want a good level of care when you get to that age as well.
I'm going to go to a place where they serve Sancerre with lunch, not to a place cabbage. You know what I mean? So that's.
Are you ready for that, Kirsty? You know what his requirements are now.
Sure. That's, sure. Okay, so I think I understand that. Off the top of your head, obviously you speak to a lot of people and you know a lot of people. From the people that you're aware of, or percentage-wise, how many founders do you think actually know their walkaway number today?
So I think there's nearly 100% of founders that think they have a number in mind. Mm-hmm. Whether that number is actually what they need, more or less, is completely different. And I've actually got some data. I spoke to over 100 people this year since January, and what I did is I asked them all the same question: what's your number? And I think out of those 100 people, about 6 gave me an accurate answer, or they've actually done it. They've sat down, they've worked out with themselves or a professional, and they could give it. So we're talking sort of 6%, 6 out of 100 will actually know the number. I would say out of those, 95 of them would have given me a number, but it would have been 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, just some number they pulled out of thin air that they think they need.
Because the interesting thing about this, excuse me, is that you get that if you ask people, because I ask people all the time, because they need to work it out. And I say, you need a wealth manager to work it out. We've got a little table that we can best guess, but don't rely on that. You need to know for certain. And there's either two kinds of people. There's those people who woefully underestimate how much they need. It's like 500 grand or something. It's like, no, I don't think so. Or those people that, like you say, 10, 15, 20 million. Yeah, that would be lovely. But I'm telling you now, you're not going to sell your business and you're not going to make that much money. So no, it ain't going to happen. And I'm well known for telling it the way I see it. I'm interested in, I'm going to ask you something now, Christian, right? We've done some rough figures. We're not wealth advisors. We're not registered. We're not skilled in that, right, at all. But we reckon if you retire at 60, an average person with an average lifestyle, so isn't racing motor cars for a living or something, is retire at 60, live till you're 95 or whatever, you're going to need between 1.5 and 2.5 million invested in something. Would you say that's about right? Bit high, bit low? What do you think?
I think it's a good rate. I think it's a good range from that perspective. Again, it all comes down to the lifestyle you want to lead and the things that you want to do. If you want to just get by, it's probably lower. If you want to maintain where you are now, and as you say, the average person, it's a really good sort of ballpark figure. If someone comes to me and says, I'm 60, I've got $1.5 million invested, do you think I can retire? There's a good chance we'll get there or thereabouts.
As long as you're careful. So that kind of leads me into this next question, which I'm willing to bet everybody watching or listening is chomping at the bit, is how would I calculate that? Because you said there's a lot of things that go into it, lifestyle, like I imagine how many children you've got, what schools they're going to, those kind of things. So how can people calculate what their walkaway number, what goes into it?
So a little bit like you, finger in the air, sort of rule of thumb number. We can come up with a sort of here and now number pretty easily, and it's run through different maths and it works. And it all really comes down to what your lifestyle costs now. Okay, so if you're spending let's say £5,000 a month after tax to maintain your house, go on your holidays, do all the things that you want to do, that's give you a £60,000 a year lifestyle. I'm sort of saying you've paid your mortgage off in this sense, just to make it easy. And then we just times that by 25 and it gives us an idea. So that 60,000 lifestyle, there you go, Mike, there's your 1.5 million.
Oh, there you go.
That lifestyle also needs to, that number then grows with inflation each year, because obviously things are going to get more expensive. In a 30-year retirement, prices are going to, on a 3% inflation, are going to go up 2.5 times. So you've got to factor these things in. That's the basic, give us the number now. When we calculate it, we need to take into other factors in, like you've got things like state pension, maybe you own some properties. We take all these factors in, different inflation rates, different investment returns. There's about 15 different things we need to take into consideration to get you to the actual, here's that number. If you've got it, I'm confident enough to say, that's it, you're there, do what the hell you like now.
I think it's the single most important number a business owner can know, and that's quite a bold statement when you think of all the numbers that a business owner sees, but an owner, that is the one you need more than anything else. And the second most important is how much you need to invest each year to get it. Yes,
and that's it's reverse engineering. It's reverse engineering, because we can then go and say, well, what do we need? What do you need to live each year? What do you need to take out of the business? You can then go up the chain, can't you? Well, what does that work out in net profit, gross profit? How many placements do I need to make? How many contracts do I need to put out? You can literally make that your target to build your business. You can go to you guys and go, I've got this number. I need to be able to take this out of my business. Help me get there.
There's a difference between building a business with intent and sort of building a business almost by happenstance. It's like, these are the clients I've got, this is what I need, rather than this is the lifestyle I choose to have, this is the business that builds it. And it's that We call it the
Like
business owner mindset. Business owner mindset is
Yeah.
I plan the business I need, whereas a recruiter who happens to own a business sort of builds it by happenstance. So perfect. Now, we've spoken a lot, a little bit.
Just on that very quickly, very, very quickly. I know we're on a time mission here to get through everything that we want to get through, but we occasionally run what we call the blueprint workshop. So Peter runs it, and it's free, doesn't cost anything. But what we will do is show you how to work out the size business you need in order to deliver the amount of income that you're looking for. And that income obviously includes income that you would invest privately in whatever investment vehicle you come up with. So if you're interested in that, we haven't got one booked at the moment, but we are going to do one in the next few months, I think. So just put the word blueprint in the comments, or if you're listening to this on the podcast or watching it, you can DM me on LinkedIn. Just put blueprint into the direct message, and we'll put your name on the list. And as soon as we run one, we'll invite you. It is free. We don't sell through. It's not like that. It's about adding value, which we do. But it'll help you to work out the size company that you need, and it's pretty accurate actually what Pete comes up with. So
I think so few people are not building with intent. They're just building on I want 10 headcount, or I want this number, or things like that. And actually, these two things together, take your number and put that blueprint in place. That's going to supercharge anything you're doing.
I'll tell you something, because I agree with that entirely. Build your business on intent. I'll tell you something though. The size business that you need is usually considerably smaller than people think it is. Considerably smaller. So they're trying to build this big monster, totally unnecessary. You can build something much smaller and generate the money you need to build the personal wealth that you need to retire and have a great lifestyle between then and now. So
amazing. Okay, so I do want to move on now, because I think a lot of recruiters, obviously we've been around a lot, my whole life really. A lot of recruiters have this build and sell model in their head. I'll start a business, I'll build it, I'll sell it for, like you say, like 10 million or 50 million or whatever it is, and I'll become very, very rich and wealthy and be able to live the life I want. Christian, from your opinion, is that the right way to think or the wrong way to think?
The right way to think is, if you are able to exit, which is hard. I mean, Mike, I know we've got that. I've got 0.3%. I think his is 0.2% actually sell.
Last year
it should be the icing. Well, there you go. Yeah, and so, but whatever it is, it's a small number overall. If you are able to build a business to exit, it should be the icing on top of the cake. Otherwise, you're literally putting all your eggs in the basket and hoping that at the time you need to sell that business, one, it's a saleable asset, and two, there's someone that wants to buy it. And I think Mike's probably a lot more experienced in this area to understand that, and I'd be interested to hear what he's got to say about it.
Well, it's interesting because last year, the 33,000 recruitment companies in the United Kingdom, it was about 75, I think, that ended in a sale and an MBO, and there were no IPOs at all. So no companies were floated. So that's been coming down steadily, and I don't think that trend is upturn. It's less in America, yeah. There are fewer companies that end in that way in the States, and there are reasons for that. But in the UK, it's very small, and the criteria to dictate whether your business will be saleable or not is pretty well known. If you don't tick those boxes, you're not going to sell. If anybody's interested, we actually have a little tick box. You can self-analyze your business. You just ask me for it, I'll send it to you. It's a PDF, and it'll tell you whether you're going to sell or not. And if you can't tick those boxes, almost certainly you're not going to sell. So I really don't think that's a plan. As Christian said, if it happens, and I'll talk about that in just 1 second, that's great. You're going to get a slightly bigger villa in the south of France. Great. But if it doesn't, you're not going to have a miserable retirement or have to work longer before you can retire. So I think plan for it not to be sold, but if you can sell it, that's absolutely great. Now, what I would say, if you can build a high profit business, that's what it's all about. Profit, profit, profit. If you build a high profit business that's high in pound notes and high in percentage wise, that doesn't need you all the time, that's not dependent on you day to day, especially if it's niche, somebody will buy that. Almost certainly somebody will buy it because it's obviously a cash generator. It doesn't need you all the time, so you can disappear. And it's got some sort of focus on the market that it's working in. somebody will put a bid in. Might not be retiring money, but you don't need it to be. You just need it to be, whatever you can get. So I'm all in favour of that.
Out of interest, Christian's number was 3%. Your number was 2%. Last year it was 1%. Why is that number so low? I mean, and it's getting lower. Why is that, Mike?
Because what if you think about it? Put your hat on as a buyer for a second. Just think about a buyer, right? So you decide, I'm going to buy a recruitment company. Well, when you start to look at them, either they're not high profits, they barely make a profit, or there's no growth in the profit, or there's no track record of growth. It's bumbled along. Who wants to buy that? They look at key dependencies. So they see that the business is dependent on one or two key people. If those people weren't there, that business would struggle. They've got no long-term contracts in place, no longevity on the relationships they've got. Any of those clients could just terminate the relationship right now. And especially if they're perm, they've got to reinvent their business every month just to stand still, let alone grow, So contracts different, temps a little different again. So this is not an attractive proposition, really, which is why a lot of the PE companies now are just not interested in recruitment companies. They're just not interested at all, because they think, well, it's a bad risk, particularly with AI. We don't know what that means for our business. TAs, the rise of TAs, there's a whole bunch of other stuff happening, that it's an unpredictable business. So you've got to be the opposite of all of those. I say, if you're interested, get the checklist, it'll tell you. But really, there aren't enough companies that are ticking the boxes in the checklist.
There's something I've seen the rise of as well with speaking to people is PE companies are going to invest in recruitment. They're not going to go and buy the business. They're going to go and find the talent, and they're going to back them, and then they're going to control them probably, have a controlling interest, promise a lot to that talent, but and then build something up that's going to be cash generative themselves that maybe they can then sell on. So they'll keep that. They'd rather put that money in to the people than the whole organization. And a follow-up point is, it's interesting. I speak to a lot of people mid-40s. They go through this journey of, they start off well, it's quite lean, they do quite well, and they think that what they need to do is get back more offices, more people, they expand, they get the cost base goes up, they make less money, and then they basically shut it all down and go back to where they were in the first place.
There's a name for that. There's a name for those companies, right? The first group are what's called scissor companies. So turnover goes up, but profit comes down. And then when they collapse, they're what's known as a yo-yo company. And in recruitment, I mean, you get yo-yos in all walks of life, but in recruitment, yo-yos are endemic. They grow, they shrink, they grow, they shrink. And what gets me is they go through this cycle and they think, if they repeat what they did, which caused the collapse, if they repeat it a second time, somehow it's going to be better. I've got news for you. No, it isn't. If you don't do it differently, right? And there's a reason for this, is because there are, in business growth, there's a thing called T points, transition points. You go through certain stages in the business, you need to transition. You may have heard the expression, you can't make a butterfly by making a caterpillar bigger. Well, you can't. And it's the same with the business. Business isn't just about adding people, clients, and money, people, money, and clients. It isn't. You've got to reach a stage, re-engineer the business, and go again. And the ones that don't re-engineer are the ones that fall back. It's so common. It's unbelievable, really. Drives me mad, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, I can definitely tell now. Okay, right. I do want to move on. So the next section we want to talk about is building. Part of what you're talking about, Christian, is you know what your number is, and then you can take that number and go and say, well, this is the business that I need, right? To finance my lifestyle, my retirement, my future, whatever it might be. Can we talk a little bit more about that? Like, Mike, I know this is something that probably you have a thing on. What do I need? What's the secret sauce for building a business that gives me the money, the information that I need, that Christian's plan can come to fruition?
Right. Okay. And now, normally, friends of the show will know that we're not big on PowerPoint. We don't use PowerPoint. It's not our thing. However, I'm just going to show you a little bit of a slide, which I will describe for listeners on the podcast. But this is the easiest way I know to describe it. It comes down to 4 different pillars. And I guarantee that if you can properly tick each of these pillars, it's harder to fail than it is to succeed. Honestly, and you'll see as I go through them, some of them are obvious, but people don't do them. So it's like they're not that obvious at all. But let's bring up a screen curse. Let's have a look. So the first one is really going back to what. Whoops. Now that's why we don't use PowerPoint, because I can't control my fingers. Big fat sausage. Right. So the first thing is very simple. You can do that in 2 hours. You document what you want as the director and owner of the business, what you want from it. And it comes down to 4 things in that space. Number 1, how much income do you want to make this year? How much free time do you want this year? What activities do you want to get rid of this year so you don't have to do them, someone else can do them? And lastly, how much am I going to invest in my retirement fund this year? Very simple. Write it down. Done. Absolute clarity on what the business have to do for you.
Mike, can I just a quick question on that? How many people do you find aren't doing number 1?
Oh, most of them. Well, they do if they work with us, because we make them do it. But it's like, I don't want to know that. It's like, well, why not? Because it is what it is. It doesn't change. Better to know and then think about your business and enable it, as you say, on purpose to deliver what you want, rather than just hope for the best. It's madness, Mike. You absolutely should document those 4 things. And if you work with us, then you will, because we keep nagging you until you do. Second thing is, and this is the thing that gets me right, you need to be able to have a delivery service. In other words, what you get paid for. If you're a recruiter, it's put the bum on a seat. If you're a lawyer, it's doing the law, whatever it is. Highly efficient. So efficiency equates to profitability. If you can generate a lot of revenue off a smaller team, you're going to make more net profit, right? And attractive to the clients. And it's funny because you can have an efficient delivery function, but the clients hate it. And I once lost a £3 million client because of that. So that's for another time, that story. It's a really interesting story. I don't like telling it because it gives me cold sweats, but it's got to be attractive, and you've got to be able to prove that with numbers. So don't say to me, yeah, we've got a great delivery function. Yeah, great. I'm sure you have. Show me the numbers that tell me that. If you can't do the numbers, you can't prove to me. It's a good feel, and quite frankly, that's not good enough. It has to be excellent, right? Number 3 is you need a good, stable team. I'd sooner have a team of average or above average people that stay together, that I could motivate and make productive through tools and training and management, than I would a team full of high billing tours and throwers coming and going. You're never going to make a lot of profit doing that. It's the stability of the team and then the productivity of the team, and you can control that. That is massively important. And then lastly, you've got a client estate where you can add high value clients to it. You can remove clients that are low value or have become low value. And for the clients in there, you can manage them in a way that make you the first choice, the apex supplier, for as many of those clients as you can. You do that, just that one thing, and the money will come in. So if you can build a business that ticks those 4 boxes, it's much, much harder to fail than it is to succeed. And I think that, I know it sounds fairly simplistic, but I promise I've worked with probably over 150 to 200 clients now in one sort or another, and loads of companies have gone through our training programs. That is common amongst all the really successful ones, 100%.
Okay, perfect. Now, in a second, Christian, I'm going to be coming to you for those people who are watching or listening thinking, okay, maybe I'm not going to sell my business. Maybe I need to do some things. But before then, Mike, it is time for our sponsored message, which is us still, because we were uncomfortable having sponsors. So it is us. It is us because we want it to be us. So shall we talk about that?
Let's do that then, Kirsty. Right. So it follows on from the theme that we were just talking about. There is a thing called the entrepreneur's entrapment, and you may recognize some of these things that are coming up on the screen right now. They are very, very common. You expect them when you start the business. In fact, there's no other way, quite frankly. However, if you've been running the business for 2, 3, 4 years or more, what you see on the screen should not be happening to you.
Just read them out loud for the people on the podcast, Mike.
Okay, I'll do that, Kirsty. Thank you for that reminder.
Yes.
Low profits, long hours, you work on holiday, that thing where you work at the old tap on the old screen by the pool, Everything seems to be on you. If you weren't there, the thing wouldn't function very well. Your revenues yo-yo, which we talked about a minute ago, and there's no exit in sight. How is this going to end? If that's you, then we've got something for you. It's called the Online Profit Lifestyle and Wealth Workshop. It's designed to show you how to build a safe and high profit business that does not depend upon you. It's low dependency. The next one we've got is the 25th of June. It's online. It's, as its name suggests, 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. London time. It's got a maximum of 8 attendees, and I've been told this morning we have 2 spaces left, and we have 3 people who've said they're interested but haven't committed yet. Okay, so if they don't say when that is full, it's full. That's the end of it. We do that because it's a workshop. It's completely free of charge. We don't charge for it. We don't sell in it either. What we do is show that we know a lot about the subject and add a lot of value, and then some of those people come to us. That's how it works. It's a very successful way to sell, actually. If you're interested in having the one pager, which describes what that is, just comment below while you're watching this live PLW workshop. If you're watching a recording or listening to the podcast, then you can just DM me with PLW Workshop, and I will then send you the one pager. I don't chase you. You don't go into an email sequence, nothing like that. I send it to you. If you're interested, you tell me, you can come. All right. So 2 spaces left for the one in June. We will be running future ones. So don't worry if you don't make it for June. We will get you in, but it might not necessarily be in June.
Perfect. Okay. So, Christian, somebody's looking at their finances, looking at maybe they're in their 60s, or maybe they're in their 30s, maybe they're in their 20s, and they're thinking, right, I was planning on selling my business and making my millions and retiring that way. But I've listened to this show today and thought, no, that's not what I'm going to do. What should they do right now that they've realized they're not going to sell their business and make their millions? What should they do right now, in your opinion?
Get on top of it. Find a wealth planner that's going to run you a lifetime cash flow, and they're going to put this together for you. Work with the right people, get the support that you want. And to what Mike just talked about, that 2.5 hours, I've always thought, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Find the right people that are going to support you. And if you want to get on top of this, get a financial wealth planner, advisor, whatever you want to call them, that will do a lifetime cash flow for you today, and get on top of it.
Let me just say something on that, right? Let me be very clear. Look you in the eye when I say this. Christian is not paid to be on the show today. We don't know if he gets any clients from this. That's his business. He doesn't share it with us. We don't make any value at all from it. He's not invited us onto his own show. Actually, that's not true. You have, actually.
It's my show, and I don't get invited anyway.
Yeah. Right. We do this because we believe this is the right thing. Because there's an inner circle of people that all business owners need. And one of the people in that inner circle is a wealth manager. It's necessary to help you achieve what you want to achieve, right? There's other people, your accountant, your coach, whatever it is that you have. But it's important to have someone who understands how money works and can give you the nest egg that you need to be able to say, I'm going now, and I know I can live the rest of my life in style. It's really important. And I'll tell you something else as well. The best time to have started that was when you incorporated your business. The second best time is today, because compound interest is your friend. Compound interest is your friend. Do you just want to talk to us a little bit about compound interest and the impact of that, Christian?
Yeah, I say, look, I've always liked the visualization of it. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. It'll start off small, but it'll just gather more and more and more as you go along. And just to give you an example, compounded, at 7%, which is not, an unfair return. Your money's doubling every 10 years. But then the next 10 years, your money doubles again. So the younger you are, the sooner you get started, the better. And it comes back to the statement, I'll start investing when I'm rich. People think they need an exit, or they need a big pile of cash to get started. but actually you're only going to get wealthy, get rich, whatever measure you want to make on it, by starting small and gradually putting more and more and more in, and then letting the compound effect take over.
So if somebody's listening, oh, you go ahead, Mike.
Oh.
I was just going to say, I'm a big fan and always have been of passive income or passive investments. So index funds, just massive fan of index funds. Not for everybody, I know that, but for me, it certainly was. And I'm not going to give you the details, but I'm worth as much now as I was when I sold the business. Right, and I've spent a lot of cash. Obviously, I'm sitting in part of it right now. But I know. It's, no. It's go to the charity dogs home, unless I go to a decent old people's home.
I'll be nice.
The point is that I can't remember. I think we've had about 7.9% return, average percent per year.
Yeah.
But we are nowhere near the top end of the risk. And we could have got a lot more risky earlier on. I wish I had, really, in a sense. Right, because with index funds you don't risk anything really. I suppose the fund could disappear, but in reality that's not going to happen. But every year you get a little bit richer, and this is what I like about this approach, is that you look at your net worth every year, and it's bigger than it was last year, and it's bigger again next year than it was last year. So you're getting closer to the finishing line, and after that you don't have to go. You can keep working if you want to, but you know you're okay now. You're done. It's finished. So, and I urge everybody. I know I'm a broken record sometimes, and there's nothing in it for me personally at all, because we don't sell anything on the back of this. But I want everybody to have a plan in place, which is going to give them the retirement that they want and they deserve. Because if you don't do that, as Les Phillips used to say to me, it's surprise, panic, and blame at some point in the future. Nobody wants that. That is not what you want when it's too late to do anything about it. Do it now. Start now.
I do have one question, Christian. I'd like to aim this at you. We get a lot of people, we speak to a lot of people, I know a lot of people who are in that first year to 2 years of being a recruitment company owner, right? Where they're probably maybe still under a non-complete, so they can't go back to their old client. They're slogging away, they're building their reputation, their finances are tweaked, they're a bit thing. If I've started my recruitment company in the first 2, and I'm in that first 2 years where I'm in the what can I eat, not, the point where I'm farming, is it okay for me to be like, hey, this 2 years, I'm just going to pause. I have to focus on feeding myself now rather than thinking about myself in the future? Or is that like real folly? Am I just shooting myself in the foot? Because it seems very stressful to not only worry about feeding myself now, but also adding all this money in for later. Can I just say 2 years, I'm going to pause it?
Hierarchy of needs says, like, make sure you can put food on your table, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. First and foremost, and I get it, but I don't think it does you any harm to have a conversation and start building habits. Most people could probably afford 50 quid a month, even at that stage, even at that stage of it. So the earlier, I'll go back to Mike's comment, the right time to start is when you start your business. It's even before. It's actually, you should be speaking to a financial planner before, because they can help you plan those things out of what you're going to need to take for your business. A lot of people start recruitment businesses or any business, and they just don't know the fundamentals of how you take money out of a business. And I don't know if you find this, Mike, but I often speak to people that are 2 years in and they're like, I didn't realize it costs quite so much to run a business. By the time you've got because everyone thinks, oh, I'm billing 200 grand a year. I'm only getting paid 40% of it. What am I paying the 60% for? But what you don't realize is the cost of the office and the staff and the systems and all the other stuff that go into it. So I think it's a good idea to be having these conversations even before the business.
But the other side as well, though, the converse is true, right? I started work with a client in the States, and this person, when we started talking about the numbers, had got about $650,000 in the bank. There was her and one other person. Why have you got that much money? And she really hadn't thought about it. So the first thing that we did, I didn't know anyone in the States, but she found a wealth manager and sucked a whole load of it out and started investing that money, because inflation eats away at just money in the bank. So it's about having the right amount of money in your business to make it secure. I recommend 3 months run rate. If you're very cautious, make it 6 months, or make it 3 months, but put the money privately where you can get it quickly and put it back in the business as a loan, right? So you can liquidate it very quickly, hence stocks and shares. But in any event, you're right. It's getting that balance, how much you can invest, obviously, as well as keep a roof over your head and food on the table, but not having too much money swilling around in your business bank account.
So
Get it out.
it's interesting, Mike.
It's
interesting. It's probably the number one thing people approach me with. So I put content out on my LinkedIn about situations where I've spoken to people, clients that have built up quite a lot of cash in the business, and like it's just sitting there. I think I had one client say to me, he felt like it was like rotting old banknotes, like in visualization, rotting old banknotes, because it's been this cash is piling up for 6-7 years, and he's got hundreds of thousands, yet he's only pulling out 5-10 grand a month from the business, and his overheads aren't huge. So
big mistake.
It's a wasted opportunity.
Mistake. Massive mistake. Get the balance right. Get it right. Be accurate. Don't just be over or under cautious is my advice.
Okay, perfect. So we're coming to that time now. So in a second, I'm coming to you, Christian, and Mike's got one today as well. I'm coming to you for your top tips. But before then, Mike, can we talk about our next show in 2 weeks?
Let's do that then. So you may or may not have known recently, but LinkedIn have had a change of policy. So we all talk about the new algorithm and Brew 360 or 360 Brew or whatever they call it. Yeah. But they've actually changed policy, which actually is more impactful on all of us. So we're going to talk about that. We've got Darren Westall, Pager, who's an expert in this space, coming in, and he's going to describe to us how LinkedIn has changed its policies and what it wants you to do to be successful, and then how you can get the most from it in the modern world. If you use LinkedIn, I would urge you to come to this show. I'm very excited about the things he's already told me, so I'm really looking forward to it. But I think there'll be lots of gems in there, lots of little nuggets that you'll be able to use.
I need to be on that.
Well, so do I. I'm really looking forward to it.
I didn't realise there was the policy changes. So
yes. Anything where you can get behind into the mind of LinkedIn is a big win.
They've not announced anything. They haven't put anything out. You can't go and read it. That's not what they've done at all. This, you can tell though, if you listen to Darren and he explains, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. I've seen that. Yeah, I can see that happening. So you just think, oh, okay then. But you better work with the new way of working. Yeah, I'll be on it to tell you that. Well, I'm going to be here, aren't I? So
after your holidays.
Yeah, after his holidays, probably with his suntan and his hair bleached white. Silver highlights. Sorry, Father. Sorry. Okay, so we're at the end of the show, and as always, we like this to be really practical. Now, Christian, you've given us loads of stuff to go through, but people are watching this and they think, I want to know my walkaway number. I want to know what that is. What do you think is the first thing that they should do in order to know this?
I think I've already mentioned it. Get the lifetime cash flow. Understand what it's going to take to get you there, what that number's going to be, and that will give you what you need.
It's better to know that than not know it. Not knowing it doesn't change it. It is what it is. But knowing it means you can make decisions about it. So I echo that. It's not mine, but I echo that entirely.
Now, Michael, what is yours?
Yeah, I have one. I added it on. It's not really for me. I know it's for our guests, but I'm having it now. Start investing now. As Christian said, anyone can afford 50 quid. Probably going to need a lot more than 50 quid, but start. Just make a start and put a budget line for you into your plans moving forward. Investment. That's just like you're paying the inland revenue or something. It's, oh, I've got to do it. It's the deal. I have to do it. You've got no choice. It goes in. You do it. Because the sooner you get your head around this as a output from your business, just as important as anything else it does for you, the sooner you'll be on track to retire when you want, in the style that you want.
It's that business owner mentality that we spoke about, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what does that. Perfect. Right. So we have come towards the end of the show now. But before we finish, Christian, if people are watching this and they've maybe got questions that they don't want to ask live on a show, or they want clarification or anything, is the best thing for them to do to just message you on LinkedIn?
100%. I'm on it all the time. So you'll get me there better than a pigeon.
It's okay. I'll make sure if you're watching this on LinkedIn or on YouTube that the link is really easy to find. And if you're on the podcast, if you go over to our YouTube, you should be able to find it in the comments there. So thank you very much. So it's come to that time where I'm going to close down the show. So first of all, thank you to everybody for watching. It's always lovely to have you here. We hope you've taken a lot from it. This is one that's kind of close to our hearts. It means a lot to us. So we hope you've taken a lot from it. I want to say a huge thank you to Christian for being here, for sharing so much today, for kind of giving some really practical things. So thank you very much, Christian, for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And nice to meet you, Kirsty.
Yeah, and you. And I should say thank you to Michael, if for no other reason than brightening our day with that shirt.
Well, yes, I suppose. Well, this whole thing, which I found at the bottom of the wardrobe this morning, I don't know. No, thank you. I'll let you echo that. Thank you, Christian, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Really loved talking about it because it is something I'm very passionate about, and I want people to be as passionate as me, really. Perhaps they're not going to be, but at least this is a good start. And thank you for the hostess with the mostess, Kirsty Elizabeth. There she is. Look, so it's absolutely great show. And I'm going to look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks' time.
Fantastic. I'll see you there as well.